He will first test you to see if you can walk in the valley without complaining before he trusts you with the mountain of abundance. Many of you are crying because you are asking, Lord, why am I still waiting? Why am I struggling? But what you don't realize is that your present condition is not punishment. It is examination. God is not ignoring you. He is proving you. He is asking you silently, can you handle money without money handling you? When wealth comes, it magnifies who you already are. If you are selfish with a little, you will be destructive with much. If you are bitter when you lack, you will be arrogant when you prosper. So God says, before I give you wealth, I must test your ability to detach from it. Can you live in contentment when you have nothing? Can you walk in peace when your bank account is empty? Can you praise when doors are shut? That is the measure of a soul detached from possessions. Wealth is a servant. It must never become your master. Listen carefully, wealth is not just currency in your pocket. It is influence, resources, opportunity, and access. And God does not hand that over to a person whose emotions are tied to things. So he will send you through a wilderness. He will take away the very thing you crave to see if your craving is stronger for him. He will allow doors to close, people to leave, opportunities to dry up. Not because he hates you, but because he wants to expose what truly drives you. The question is, will you break when money breaks away from you? Or will you stand knowing that your source is not the job, not the business, not the investment, but the eternal King who owns the cattle on 1,000 hills? There is a principle you must understand. Money will never increase the worth of a man. It only reveals it. Wealth will never give you identity. It only exposes your identity. This is why God will test you in the season when you are unseen, when you are overlooked, when you are underpaid, when you are disregarded. He will test if you will still walk with dignity and gratitude. Because if you cannot manage the emotion of rejection, you cannot manage the responsibility of influence. If you cannot control the desire to prove yourself with things, you will never carry the discipline to steward riches for his kingdom. Some of you think you are waiting for money. No, money is waiting for you. Wealth is standing at the door, but it cannot enter until your heart is free. Because wealth is not meant for personal satisfaction. It is meant for divine purpose. And God will ask, do you want money more than you want destiny? Do you want luxury more than you want legacy? Do you want comfort more than you want calling? Until your answer is clear, you will stay in the testing ground. This is why God will sometimes give you a taste of prosperity and then withdraw it. Not to torment you, but to measure your attachment. Will you collapse when the extra is gone? Or will you stand declaring, the Lord gives, the Lord takes, but blessed be his name? Detachment is not neglecting money. It is mastering money. It is when you can hold wealth in your hand without letting it hold your soul. That is when heaven can trust you. So the test is this: can you walk through lack without losing faith, so that when wealth comes, you will not lose your soul? Can you be overlooked and still know you are chosen, so that when you are celebrated, you will not forget the one who lifted you? Can you remain unmoved when riches knock at your door so that you can use them for purpose and not for pride. Until these questions are answered in your life, the test is not passed. God never entrusts wealth to a heart enslaved by it. He first tests detachment to see if wealth will serve you or enslave you. This truth is one of the most profound and sobering principles of divine stewardship. When we talk about God's intention to bless his people with wealth, we must remember that wealth is not simply material. It is influence, opportunity, power, resources, and access. And whenever God grants these, they are not given for personal pride or selfish consumption, but for kingdom assignment. Yet the danger lies in the subtlety of attachment. The human heart has a tendency to cling to what it touches. It desires to make gods out of gifts, to put trust in things rather than the one who gave them. That is why God never begins with blessing. He begins with testing. He must first ensure that you can live without what he is about to give you, so that when he gives it, you will not make it your idol. A heart enslaved by wealth is one that equates value with possession, one that measures worth by accumulation, and one that finds its peace in what is owned rather than who it belongs to. Such a heart cannot be trusted with heaven's resources, because once wealth enters it, the wealth becomes God. The scripture says you cannot serve God and mammon. Notice it does not say you cannot have mammon. It says you cannot serve it. To serve mammon is to allow it to dictate your choices, to direct your purpose, to control your emotions. A man enslaved by wealth will rejoice when it comes and despair when it leaves, which means wealth has become his master. God's concern is never whether you possess riches. His concern is whether riches possess you. This is why before wealth can be entrusted, he will send tests of detachment. The test of detachment is not about deprivation for its own sake. It is about proving mastery. God will withhold the very thing you desire to see if your soul is free from dependence on it. He will let you walk through seasons where your pockets are empty, where your opportunities dry up, where your prayers seem unanswered, and where your efforts seem unrewarded. He is not punishing you. He is measuring you. He is asking the silent question, can I trust you with what you are asking me for? Will you still worship me without it? Will you still obey me without the promise of reward? Will you still serve when there is no recognition, no applause, no return? Detachment is proven not in abundance but in lack, because lack reveals whether God is enough for you. Think of Abraham, the father of faith. God promised him a son, Isaac, and after years of waiting, Isaac was born. Isaac was not only Abraham's son, he was the embodiment of the promise, the future of the covenant, the very seed through which nations would come. And yet God tested Abraham by asking him to sacrifice Isaac. Why? Because God had to see whether Abraham loved the promise more than the promise. He had to know if Abraham was attached to the gift or committed to the giver. And when Abraham raised the knife in obedience, God stopped him, because the test was not about Isaac's death, but about Abraham's detachment. Only then did God swear by himself to bless Abraham abundantly. Wealth, influence, legacy, all of it came after Abraham passed the test of detachment. The same is true for you. Before God releases abundance, He will always test whether your heart can survive without it. Many people fail this test because they see lack as abandonment rather than preparation. They think God has forgotten them when in reality, God is weighing them. If your identity collapses, when money is absent, you are not ready for money's presence. If your joy is tied to possessions, you are not prepared for responsibility. If your peace depends on a bank account, then peace is not truly in you. It is in the numbers you look at. God cannot entrust wealth to such a soul because wealth will enslave them, and instead of using it for kingdom purpose, they will be used by it for selfish ambition. You must understand that God is more concerned with your character than your comfort. Wealth is a powerful tool, but in the hands of a broken, needy, insecure soul, it becomes a weapon of destruction. That is why the wilderness comes before the promised land. Israel was tested 40 years in the desert, not because God enjoyed their struggle, but because he needed to strip Egypt out of them before giving them Canaan. The desert tested their hearts. Would they trust him for daily bread, or would they complain? Would they worship him alone, or would they build idols? Only a generation that had learned detachment could inherit the land flowing with milk and honey. The wealth of Canaan was never meant to enslave them. It was meant to serve the covenant. The principle is timeless. If you cannot be detached from wealth, you will be destroyed by it. Detachment does not mean neglecting responsibility or despising prosperity. It means wealth is in your hand, but not in your heart. It means you can lose it today and still walk with dignity tomorrow. It means your decisions are not driven by greed, but by purpose. It means you see wealth as a servant of destiny, not the source of identity. This is what God is looking for when he tests you. He is not checking your ability to make money. He is checking your ability to master money. This is why some of you feel like you are in cycles of financial dryness. It is not because God has forgotten you. It is because he is proving you. He is observing whether you panic or trust, whether you complain or give thanks, whether you compromise your values to gain, or whether you stand firm in integrity. Every test is shaping your heart for the day when wealth arrives. For if you compromise when you have little, you will be corrupted when you have much. But if you remain faithful when you lack, you will remain faithful when you prosper. The weight of wealth requires the strength of detachment. So God delays, not to deny, but to prepare. He holds back the blessing until you are no longer begging for it. He waits until your soul can say, even if it never comes, I am content in him. That is the moment he knows wealth can be trusted to you, because you no longer need it to feel valuable. A detached heart is a safe heart, a heart that will not idolize what it has been given. Wealth in such hands will serve humanity, advance the kingdom, and fulfill divine purpose. Wealth in enslaved hands will enslave others, corrupt motives, and destroy destiny. Therefore, every time you feel stripped, every time you feel reduced, every time something you trusted is removed, recognize the test. Do not see it as punishment. See it as preparation. The wilderness is God's classroom for detachment. Poverty is not the goal, but it is the teacher that ensures prosperity does not kill you. Lack is not your destination, but it is the training ground where you learn that man does not live by bread alone. God is not cruel when he withholds. He is careful.